This is really a unique platform, and I think a really compelling platform for us to truly democratize health and wellness for the world. And it's an esteemed honor for me to be here with Dr. Deepak Chopra and to really talk about this platform because the vision here is talking about clinic in the cloud, right? And the pandemic has really taught us that we don't have to now be constrained to going to a healthcare facility. We truly can go virtual. So today our goal is to really talk about the integrated medicine platform, what we are doing to bring together world-class experts, how has technology made this possible, why now, why today. And we're going to kind of touch on a couple of things. I would call it the 7 Ps. It's all about the patient. It's about patient care. It's about bringing the professionals together across diverse practices, looking at the patient not in their specialty, but looking at them as a whole human being, right? But they're looking at processes. How can processes be integrated? What sort of platforms can we put together? And then more importantly, how can we predict, prevent, and then get them to participate on the platform? So that's a big vision. And our big vision right now is to really make this very global, right? And bring together what was not done before, which is conventional medicine, lifestyle medicine, and alternative or complementary medicine. So we make the patient at the center of care. So that's really our value proposition to the world. And I'm really excited to talk about the platform. And before we get into the platform, would not have been possible. And Deepak always says it takes a village to bring up a child, and the child being the integrative medicine platform. And I want to kind of do a quick roundtable to introduce some of our key partners. And let's start. Deepak, you want to say a few words, and then we'll kick it off with everybody else.
Well, thanks, Punacha. I'm very excited about this whole process right now that we're launching, pioneering for the first time a global integrative medicine clinic of sorts. Think of the Mayo Clinic, but gone global. So in a few days, we'll be able to see patients in Nairobi or Beverly Hills or Bangladesh or Dubai, wherever. We'll have the best integrative doctors, MDs, and we'll democratize well-being. As Punacha said, I just want to say that the future, because of technology, the future of well-being is very precise, it's very personalized, it's predictable, it's preventable, and it is a process that requires everybody's participation. But 95% of chronic disease is not due to fully penetrant genes. Fully penetrant genes guarantee a disease, like a BRCA gene guarantees breast cancer. But that's only 5%. And even for that, we'll have technologies, CRISPR and so on. But 95% of chronic illness is associated with low-grade inflammation, anxiety, and depression, precedes chronic illness for many years. So with integrative cardiologists, immunologists, endocrinologists, psychiatrists, nutritionists, who have standard treated, they're MDs certified in their own profession, in their own local area, we can take all that they know, bring it to integrative lifestyle medicine. So I'm very grateful for this opportunity to Horizon and of course Carespan, because without technology we can't do this. Everything that we do has to be measurable and backed up by evidence. Otherwise, we're shooting the breeze. I'm very happy.
And I think the future is hybrid, right? So we have this through BlueJeans, we're now having an amazing collaborative experience, and we're going to have a physical center. That's a model. So let's do a quick roundtable so we can then connect all the names. Ted and Will, do you want to just introduce yourself from Horizon BlueJeans?
Sure. I'm Will Hughes, and I do business development for BlueJeans by Verizon.
And I'm Ted, the technical leader for the healthcare program at BlueJeans by Verizon as well. And we're very proud to be working with you guys today.
Thank you. And Doug, we have you also from California, right?
Absolutely. Early in the morning, by the way, but yes.
Wonderful. All right, just want a quick intro.
I'm a physician by trade, local resident here in Lake Nona. I'm extremely proud and blessed to be part of this organization. I'm trained in surgery, critical care, sports medicine, and then I added, functional medicine and acupuncture to round out my practice. So I'm very grateful and excited to be part of it.
I'm Sheila Patel. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Chopra Global and just really excited to bring this platform to life. I was also the medical director at our Mind Body Medical Group at the Chopra Center, where we did integrative medical consultations and really brought in the best of ancient traditions as well as this data-driven, evidence-based validation for a lot of these practices and modern medicine. And there's really a way to blend it. And now we can bring it globally, so people don't have to necessarily come to a physical space to get this integrated care, and really work with people who are specialists but also see the whole picture. So we can have specialists that are looking for the root cause of disease, not just treating the symptoms. And so that's really exciting to have all of like-minded people on this platform that we can access. I'm really excited. Yeah.
Robert?
Good morning, Rembert Davila, CEO of Carespan. I think Sheila underscored the word like-minded, and we are delighted to be part of this like-minded group. Hopefully our technology can bring a lot of value to what you do. When we were talking to Panacha initially, and then later on to Deepak and the rest of the team, we found that you were actually speaking our language, or we were speaking your language. So we were on different lanes along the same highway, and now we're kind of intersecting. So we're really delighted to be able to enable your vision with our technology and work with the Verizon BlueJeans team going forward to do that.
Great. So let's get into, I think, the conversation. Deepak, let's paint a picture of the future of integrative medicine through your lens, and what can the world expect?
Well, right now, as you know, anybody who's in clinical practice, we do an assessment, we take a history, do a physical exam, and then an assessment, and then make a diagnosis, and then prescribe a treatment. But the average physician doesn't have more than 10 minutes to do that, to do all of that. Mm-hmm. Also, the average physician takes very little time doing a physical exam these days, because I remember my days, I used to spend a whole night looking at EKGs, totally exhausted, reading 100 EKGs in the VA hospital, totally exhausted, and then working my regular job because I had to make some money. Today you can do this. You put your hand here, you get an EKG. You can even get multiple lead EKGs. You can get heart rate variability. You can get oxygen saturation. You can get everything you need online through digital technology. Everything you need. There's nothing that is not measurable. No experience in the mind, in the brain, is not measurable. So with technology helping us, and you can do, facial recognition, micro expressions, voice tone. You can correlate that with algorithms. You can make a much more precise diagnosis than ever before. But because the average physician doesn't have time to talk about how well do you sleep, how are your relationships, your emotional interactions, how do you manage your stress, what's your diet, are your circadian rhythms balanced? We can ask these questions, it takes time, but we can also correlate them with technology, with, as I said, micro expressions, heart rate variability, and so on. Diagnosis can be much more precise, and then advice can be much more holistic. And if we need, we can even have grand rounds. Everybody has difficult cases. You have grand rounds in hospitals. You can have grand rounds online with 10 physicians with a difficult patient. Okay, immunologist, what do you think? Cardiologist, what do you think? Generalist, what do you think? We have an approach to treating people globally that we never had before. But that's my vision.
Yeah. So Hara, we've been working on this for a while now, and kind of you and my partner in crime, really kind of looking into what is today, where is it going, what can we do with technology. Why don't you share what we've been kind of thinking at, what is going to be different now?
Yeah, so, if you look at, I work in the ER, still actively working in the ER, and if you look at how the practice of medicine has evolved over the last 20, 30 years, here's a very typical scenario, right? Somebody doesn't feel great, they're tired, they go see their primary care doctor, it takes them 2 weeks to get an appointment, they see the doctor orders some blood work, they have to go organize the blood work, it takes about another month before they see the doctor with the results, and they say, your thyroid is a little bit off, a little bit low, let me get you into an endocrinologist, okay? That then takes another 2-3 weeks. you go see the endocrinologist, who's now a specialist, who orders further tests, which then adds another layer, 2-3 weeks, you get a test, then you get a subsequent appointment, and then finally they see you and they go, it's not your thyroid. Go back to your primary care doctor. And that's the model we work in, and it's done a phenomenal job. But, given where we are right now, what we can do, and certainly the mindset of the patient has changed, because they can see the doctors virtually, which then, we had this discussion, well, why don't we open it up and have put the patient in the middle and bring the doctors to the patient. So you take that old model and juxtaposition it with a new model where you can bring a patient in, the same patient, gets an initial assessment, but then that person can bring in specialists to all look at the patient and the data simultaneously in a very quick manner of time. The other thing that it does, which I think is very important, is like general symptoms like fatigue, being overweight. Different physicians, based on their specialties and their training, will have a different filter and through which they look at the patient, right? So fatigue to an endocrinologist is probably thyroid. Fatigue to a psychiatrist is probably low-grade anxiety or depression. Fatigue to a sports specialist is lack of exercise. And it could be all of those things. But we see them in isolated pictures. And I think this platform can remedy that.
Great, thank you. So Sheila, over 3 decades probably, and I guess two plus decades in the mind-body medical group. From an integrative medicine, what can traditional or conventional medicine, complementary medicine, what's your vision?
So the thing I'm really excited about with this platform is that it's integrative medicine and, like Deepak said, a holistic approach. So we have to look at physical health, mental health, spiritual health. And people, again, we could take this platform and just use the medical system we have now and put a bunch of specialists together. But what we want to do is create a new paradigm where this is from that integrative approach of holistic care, mind, body, spirit, and treating the root cause. Because again, we can get a bunch of specialists together to all prescribe a different medicine, but we've just taken what we have that's not working for chronic disease and putting it on a platform. But this gives us the opportunity to give people access to physicians, other practitioners who are really trying to get to the root cause of a disease or symptoms that someone's having, prevent it, and then also we can focus on well-being and wellness and thriving. And so, that is what we're bringing to people, and then also increasing access, because I would see people in a physical space and recommend they see other integrative practitioners of different sorts, but then they would have to go find them, or, the access is lacking there. So this gives people immediate access, and we can create a network of people that we trust that we can recommend people see. And also other types of practitioners. They can get energy healing or nutritional advice or all different sorts of modalities that we can also bring to the platform as far as treatment. So not, again, it's breaking out of the mold of even just how we're thinking about healing.
And I think I'm excited because here in Lake Nona, we have a unique ability to bring the best in technologies, the best healthcare ecosystem. And now with the Lake Nona Performance Club and the Chopra Mind Body Zone, we can actually bring some of our programs, which we have used for years, Perfect Health, right? And bring in the medical consults, use the Ayurvedic practitioners in the Mind Body Zone, the massage therapists, and give people this unique experience.
Yeah, and it's really about the best of all worlds, like you don't have to throw anything out. There's obviously advantages to doing things in our Western model and, how we think about a patient, but there's also benefits to all of these other ways of thinking about healing, and that's where we need to move into healthcare.
It's embracing all the modalities, right? It's not saying allopathic is better than complementary. It's not about that.
What's best for the patient?
It's what's putting the patient in the middle.
And Eric Topol said, the paradigm shift from the doctor will see you now, the patient will see you now. From a Chopra Foundation perspective, I think I'm really excited because I believe today, for the first time, we can do what we call life event monitoring, right? At home, at work, on the road, at play. How do we figure out? Because what happens for us, we don't get diabetes by eating a pizza last night.
Right.
It happened over a 10-year period. And Ara, I've been really excited working with you because I think we're testing out, different things. Like example, we're doing things over here with Freestyle Libre, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to look at my glucose level, but right now I can actually scan and get my glucose scan.
And then he calls me.
And then we have all these devices called body metrics, which we can now
both of us are
wearing it. Yeah. And we can actually integrate. Deepak is like the walking gadget, right? So he has everything on the planet. So what we can do is put it to work, right? We can now don't have to guess, right? What happened? You had the pizza last night. This is what happened because awareness is key to transformation.
Correct.
So from a Chopra Foundation perspective, we really want to do a lot of research on continuous monitoring. What does that do to help the patient and work with the professionals to bring the best care possible?
Yeah, and I think the digital, all of the equipment is really important because right now I see a patient and all I have is their blood pressure in that moment in the office, and then I'll have to recommend buy a blood pressure cuff, check your blood pressures, write it down in a diary, and then 2 weeks later it hasn't been done. And so you can't properly treat people without data.
The way technology is going, even when I did my meditations on Fitbit, we had 1.3 billion media impressions. So we're moving from biofeedback to bioregulation in real time. You can intervene.
Real time.
And it makes medicine a parallel process rather than a serial process. Right. So I think the technology removes the friction of space and time, so to speak.
So this is talking about devices. So I think we're really excited with the Verizon partnership on 2 levels. One is we're talking about democratizing access to the world, which means the world is going mobile, right? The world doesn't matter where you are, we're going to be connected. 5G is going to make connectivity possible. 2 is that this conversation we happen to be here, but it can be seamless. Ted and Will are there. So with that, Ted, paint a picture of your vision for the future of healthcare from a video and BlueJeans perspective, and I'm excited about this collaboration.
Yeah, thank you for that opportunity. I'm very excited to just listen to all you luminaries. It's awesome. So a couple points. Verizon is definitely in the business of connecting things together, connecting devices together globally. So we see that with basic televisits, absolutely the case. And throughout the last 18 months with COVID, we've had a tremendous increase in the amount of televisits and doing more virtually. But I think way beyond that, what we see is people doing things like grand rounds and being able to do things like bring expertise in from anywhere in the world immediately in a video session and really just offer better care to the patients. And so that's something we have customers doing today, but something within the Chopra Foundation we expect to do a lot more of, to bring the right expert in at the right time. And I think our job as Verizon and BlueJeans is to kind of integrate that with this really nice product, Carespan, which Doug will show us here in a few minutes. I think we have a great partnership to get all the right speeds and feeds connected and really give that better care on the spot. It's perfect knowledge very quickly. So thanks for the opportunity to participate in this partnership. It's worked out very nicely.
That's great.
Thanks, Ted. I think what we can expect over the next 1 year, I think the next 6 months, working very closely with Verizon and Carespan, is to make the experience frictionless, right? Everybody this is not a platform designed for a very tech-savvy 16-year-old. We want to go across the spectrum. And when I'm working with Carespan, looking at the interfaces, the audio interfaces, everything, I think we're excited. So let's kind of Remember, do you want to give a quick vision and we take Doug through a use case?
Just very quickly. The other reason we're excited about this is the ability to support you with data analysis, right? So a lot of the transformation that you were talking about really requires information in the background to be able to do something real time, right? That's meaningful and relevant. So our job is to curate that, collect the information and curate that to you, right, and to the patient. The second exciting thing is empowerment for the patient. All of a sudden, the patient also is informed. And if they're informed, we feel that they will be engaged. If they're engaged, we feel take accountability for their health. And improvements in health, as you know, is two-sided, right? The patient has to be willing to improve as well.
The participation.
Yes, so we've built Carespan around that philosophy, and therefore we feel that we squarely can support you. And obviously, there's a lot of work ahead of us, and we'll find that out along the way, but and Doug will show you how it works.
Is this the first of its kind, this what we're doing?
I was about to say the reason I'm excited is because people are talking about it, you're doing it. Big difference.
And I think we're doing it because I think, like I said, it's convergence. We could not have found the right time because of cloud being cheaper, because of what happened in the pandemic, because people are now saying this is the default. There's a shift in the mindset. People are now saying, let me go teleconsult first, then I'll go see the physician. Do I really need to go? I don't know. Yeah. And the most important thing is the certain amount of transparency coming in. I mean, imagine from a different physicians sharing with the platform, it makes it easy. So Doug, kind of show us your 5-minute kind of what we can expect to see from a physician and a client perspective.
Great, I'd be happy to. Let me share my screen. And let me know, can everyone see that okay?
Yep.
So as Rembert said, it's really all about the data and the analytics we can do with the data. And we're very excited to be working with Verizon as well, because not only do we get access to world-class video conferencing tools, but also things like a 5G network, which extends our reach into remote areas for even more data for the less privileged people. But this is the doctor interface, one we get when logging in, today's calendar and schedule. I can see that Mr. Dunn has come in to see me. Someone's already checked him in, so I'm going to resume this encounter. As I go into my encounter room, the first thing you'll see is it's an integrated platform that has things like the complete patient record, the video, vital signs, and all that. I'm going to walk you through this quickly. You can see my nurse already took some vital signs. I can take some more with a multifunction device like this one, another one from Bodymetrics, which takes ECG and single lead ECG, SpO2, heart rate, temperature, and I can just take that, and when I upload the data, you'll see it automatically appear in the interface. You don't have to type it in. There's the temperature coming in. Next, you'll see my single lead ECG come in down here, and the other data continue to populate out. So again, you don't have to type that data in. Multiple devices coming from a variety of sources can be fed into the system directly. And our ECGs are actually data-based. They're not just PDF files. You can actually zoom in and mouse over and see the actual data points. We also support other kinds of digital data, such as X-rays, high-resolution imagery we can bring in from MRIs or X-ray systems. We can zoom this in and see that it's actually fairly high resolution and move around on it and talk about it with the patient. Once you've done collecting your data for your input, you're going to talk to your patient about maybe upgrading their labs and their other materials. So we support a full lab ordering system. You might want to, for example, order a basic metabolic panel, maybe a hemoglobin H1C, A1C, again, to do your complete lab and blood works. You can also then run evaluations. So let's say this is a depression patient. You might want to run your GAD-7 standardized evaluation with scoring and alerts. Again, you can do it in person like this with the patient, or you can email it to the patient, have them do it on their own time, and the results are automatically posted back to Carespan. And you can invite in consultants. You can bring in your associates to talk to you about other topics they may be expert in. So because we're using this Verizon video, we can do multiple people in the same encounter. And again, it doesn't matter what their topic is. If they made themselves...
One screen, Doug, I think this is an important point. I think this is for the first time we can actually have all the different integrated medicine physicians and say, you know what, can you just jump on a call right now? And we can do that. Before it like schedule it a month down the road, let's see they're available, they have travel. Now we can really do it in real time. And this is the paradigm shift, right? The patient will see you now.
That's right.
Correct. And then you can also check this patient's monitoring program. So if you are monitoring the program, this patient, this is a remote patient monitoring system, it's integrated in. So all the triggers and the data that gets collected during the RPM is fed directly into the platform. It's not disparate platforms that you have to somehow assimilate and copy data back and forth. It's plugged right in. So this is telling that Mr. Dunn's having a problem here. He's in alert status. I can look at his data and see that, yeah, his SpO2 has dropped down in the red zone. We should talk about that, maybe address his program, make some adjustments, adjust his medications or his program in general. So again, very powerful having all that integrated. But the most powerful thing with all that is keeping the patient involved. So we have the ability to very easily upload things. Like, for example, I'm going to upload a sleep study report done with the Bodymetrics ring that Pranasha talked about a moment ago. Here's the sleep report. I can upload that directly in. We'll put it in the information category. That's good. And that gets uploaded directly into the patient record so that they can review it at their leisure. We also have access to custom content, for example, Chopra's specific manuals, or in this case, the Merck manuals. I might want to look up a manual on depression, and here's a bunch of ones that Merck has published. I like this one the best. Looks like the one I want to send my patient, so I can preview it like that, and then add it to the patient record. So again, I've done a kind of a complete walkthrough. One of the things I can do then is I'm going to leave this room temporarily. This little home is like walking out of your exam room. I'm going to log back in as the patient so I can show you what it looks like from that standpoint. So the patient has a much simpler interface. This also works on a mobile phone, but I'm showing you the desktop computer version right now. Here's the appointment I could go to, but before I do that, let me show you what his dashboard looks like. So here's basic information, insurance information. Here's the current conditions he's being treated for and his treatment plans he can review. And there are those 2 documents that I just uploaded from the platform. So here's a sleep report saying that you can see the green, there's his positive areas, the red's ones we should be worried about. Here's his heart rate through the night. And here's his sleep stages, even though whether he's awake or in a deep sleep or REM or light sleep all through the night. Again, tracking all that with all this other data as well. There's about 109 different data points that come off that device, and this is just a few of them summarized in this report. And then again, here's the depression document that we uploaded as well. So the patient has those available for their immediate access whenever they need them. So let me show you what it looks like just quickly from the patient standpoint. Almost exactly the same interface. They just don't have all the tools, but they've got the same video, the same measurements, the same images. And again, all this works on a mobile phone as well. The patient can look at this on their phone and talk to the patient or talk to the doctor without having to log into their computer. And they can even do things like draw on the image and ask doctor questions like, what is this mass? Is it something I should be concerned about? And that's going through the internet in real time so the doctor can see him drawing on the image remotely.
Doug, can you just show the use case of somebody has a burn, a child at home had a burn, and now you know what, you don't have to go and stay in the ER and spend all weekend. Just show the use case of the burn. What would happen?
So for one thing is the doctor might say, do you mind showing me what's happening with your burn? See how it's healing. And you please hold it up to the camera. So if I'm on a remote system, I can just hold my arm up to a camera and quickly, well, I'm on the patient side, so the patient can't do it. I'm sorry. Let me go real quickly back into the doctor's side. I'll show you how to do it from there. The doctor can capture the image, but the patient can hold it up.
Dermatology is the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, integrative dermatology. I mean,
do this and then prescribe. Yeah, but
Again,
again,
I can ask the patient.
prescription.
Let me ask the patient to hold his arm up close to the camera, grab a quick picture of it. Okay, that's my burn.
and by the way,
It's completely healed.
into it. He's not actually typing, so it's all basically voice activated.
Right, I just talked that in, and we support multiple languages. We're using the Google Voice interface, so it's very flexible and does support medical terms. And I can save that out. And now I've created another image that I can show that my patient's actually healing. I can save that. I don't need it anymore. I'll save it in the permanent record. And you can imagine all
The power of telehealth and how we can make it happen. Anything else, Doug? You want to showcase?
That's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Back over to you guys.
Great job.
So what I want to do is, for the remainder of the time, is to do a quick reflection, right? So I think we'll do a quick conversation on when you look at all this technology today, where do you see it going?
It's real-time intervention, like your blood sugar monitoring. Right? I work in the ER, and I cannot tell you how many times.
But this doesn't lie. I try to lie when I go to the doctor.
No, I know.
This one is like, you're like, no.
I know it doesn't lie because I've caught you out too many times. But typically a patient would come in and they say, my blood sugar has been running high for the whole week, and I don't know. I haven't changed any medication. I don't know what's going on. Or my asthma has been out of control, or my blood pressure has been out of control for a whole week. Right? Why wait a week?
Right.
You can monitor it now, and you can have back-end people monitoring it and just call you up and go, Kunal said your blood sugar went up yesterday.
Yeah,
and
it's like in real time, right? So this is also, it's also affordable. That's the key thing, right?
Yeah.
It's affordable.
Yeah.
How many children suffer today just not knowing all this?
Not knowing any of it. And also, but the other thing about this, the beauty about this, and I've known this from you personally, because it's instant feedback, and because we are wired to, a reward system, you want to keep it in a certain range. I know for a fact, like Punacha has changed the way he ate, or what he would eat, when he would eat it. You could also see the effects of jet lag, effects of mental stress, over-exercise, under-exercise on your blood sugar. And that's just one parameter. You can see it on your blood pressure, you can see it on your oxygen saturation, your resting heart rate. So
Electrodermal activity.
yeah, and we've gone from a very static, linear model to a highly dynamic and instant feedback model, which I think is key because in my experience, and Deepak, you jump in, it's not a lack of information. It's how do you apply the information? How do you put it into
insights?
Yes.
Real time.
How do you act on it? And that's where this makes a huge difference.
Hey, what I'm thinking in traditional classic, what we call allopathic medicine, it's measurement. It's a quantitative exercise that we go through. In lifestyle medicine, particularly Ayurveda is a qualia medicine. It's not a quantitative. Qualia means quality of experience. So all these years, people say, yeah, I feel good, but what's my heart rate doing? I slept well, but how much was my dream sleep? Okay, so Ayurveda is qualitative, and qualia means quality of experience. What you're doing is looking at experience. What the classic doctor does is look at measurements. Wants to make a diagnosis, give a prescription. Doesn't even have the time. But now that we can actually just take the example of Ayurveda, okay, we have body types. And for thousands of years, these body types have been used. But what's the proof that they're real? Okay, I did this questionnaire. I think it's real. I feel it's real. What's the proof? Well, now that we know epigenetics, we can say this is the genetic activity of a Vata, this is the genetic activity of Pitta, this is the genetic activity of a Kapha, or whatever body type, various permutations and combinations. But you should also be able to look at microcirculation, facial expressions, tone of voice, and instantly say, this is your dosha, this is your diet, this is your relationships, this is what it is. Everything that we've done with Ayurveda, which was qualitative, is now also quantitative. And then you see, now we can measure these things. There's no experience that cannot be measured. I have to keep saying that because people think you can't measure what I'm thinking. Yes, you can. If you're an anxious thought, everything changes, including your heart rate variability immediately. If you fall in love, immediately changes. If you're thinking of transcendence, immediately changes. Who could have predicted that we would be at this stage?
I think today, with talking about measurement, Deepak, we have so much of technology, right? As I'm speaking, this is what makes 5G exciting for me, right? Is that I can look at the voice biomarkers, very, very accurate today. So I can look at an 8 to 10 second sample and predict, is a person anxious? So imagine AI. Now with AI and chatbots and voice bots, we can have this conversation on real-time voice analysis. We work in a company called WonderTech out of Singapore, which does real-time voice biomarkers. Working with a company called X2.ai, which is a real-time chatbot, which we have used at Chopra Foundation for mental health intervention. Over the last 1 year, we've had over 5 million messages exchanged on this platform, 500,000 minutes,
interventions?
3,800
Suicide interventions online.
Right? So this is democratization.
No psychiatrist can do that.
And imagine the tragedy, right? We are at an all-time best technology, we're all over here, but every 40 seconds, we lose somebody to suicide globally. And that is a tragedy. And I think what we need to do, we have to use technology. This is what I think an integrated medicine platform is, to use the best of the mindset, because there always is a professional, and give them the tools through technology for the best care of the patient. Right? Ted, what's your thoughts? I mean, Ted and Will, you want to kind of pitch in and share your vision?
It's a great vision. And, I think, again, for Verizon, we're very focused on providing that connectivity to get you the data that you need in real time.
Right.
And I was really impressed with the Carespan product. They have a very comprehensive, well thought out protocol, if you will, to handle a lot of the incidental data. And our job is to work together to provide that data to you in real time. The experts like yourselves will be able to diagnose the patient needs. And we're going to get you that data in real time as expected through 5G, which is a huge investment for us.
And through MEC. MEC is like having an AI assistant over your shoulder less than 10 milliseconds away when you make a diagnosis.
And that's a huge thing, because what Will said is low latency, right? Why is it only now you're getting it near real time? It wasn't possible. And now I think that's the beauty of the 5G technology. And Lake Nona, we are sitting down here in the 5G Innovation Hub, right? So we will actually be able to really accelerate some of the development, bring together some of the tech partners. Sheila, any thoughts?
I
listen
think,
today?
yeah, I think the key is using these things as tools to increase self-awareness, as you said. When a patient can, like maybe I can sit with someone like I do in an office, but do it virtually and breathe, and then they can see
the respiration, heart rate.
Yeah, you get that biofeedback, and it really just reinforces the practices, the quality, the experience they're having. Now they can actually visually see, oh, my physiology is changing, because there's nothing like in every moment, every choice you're making is your physiology, and so now people will have that reinforcement. Oh, in every moment, every choice I'm making is affecting my physiology, and you need that real-time feedback.
Real-time example. Okay, a patient with chronic asthma or a patient with a cardiac arrhythmia. Okay, and instant diagnosis, right? Traditionally, you would prescribe a steroid for the asthma. For the arrhythmia, you might give a beta blocker or something. But now, Amit Anand can say, I'm going to teach you real-time breathing technique, pranayam, right now, flip your cardiac arrhythmia, and alleviate your asthma. No steroids. No steroids.
Correct.
And if it doesn't work, okay, I'll prescribe a steroid.
Right.
And it's also, when you tell people, if you're anxious, try to break the cycle by like box breathing, right? Very simple breathing technique. And so I don't think, does that work?
Yeah.
And you go, well, watch your heart rate, watch your heart rate variability, and do it and see it. And they see it in real time, and they go, oh my goodness, it does work.
Yeah.
And that then gets their buy-in, and then that's how you can change behavior.
I'm fascinated
Real
by
time.
this, right? Ted, you want to say something?
No, so just affirming what you said in real time.
Real-time coaching with the doctor and biometrics to back it up. That's really powerful. So they leave the appointment with full knowledge of how to box breathe and why it works.
Yeah. And then think about it. We have credit score, the FICO score, this score, that score. Everything in life has a score, except your health and wellness. There's no score. And that we should really have, instead of seeing the once a year annual visit.
Yeah.
I love what Deepak said. This was inspiration when Deepak said, let's go build this. He always said doctors need to stop practicing and they need to start.
See, we, as traditional doctors, we say, I practice. I think it's time to stop practicing and start healing.
Yeah.
That's my advice to doctors. Stop using the word practice.
Yeah.
Let's perform.
Right.
So remember, closing thoughts on, obviously a big part of this is the integrative digital care delivery.
Yes.
Because, people say, I want to change my habit, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then they have a heart attack, they go to the doctor, and the doctor is the last line of defense, really. When a doctor says do this, transformation happens, right? What can we expect to see from a Carespan perspective?
I think it's being able to access improving technology over time and quickly utilizing that technology for what you want to do. The other reason why I'm personally excited about this is the ability to scale, right? All of a sudden, because of technology, you can provide the Chopra peak living mantra and philosophy to a lot more people. Maybe there's a 20x factor. I don't know what the factor is, right? Than today's alternative. So that's what I'm excited about, being able to scale the entire thing across millions and even billions of people.
Billions, please.
I read 1 billion was your target. You probably have achieved that already. So.
And I think for me, what I'm so excited about is the culture shift. I think for the first time, I believe that we don't have to think in silos and specialties. We really look at the person in totality, not as a psychiatrist patient, not as an orthopedic, or not about this, but truly say, okay, somebody's had an ACL, was an athlete, guess what? He or she is going through some mental distress.
Yeah.
Let me talk to the nutritional psychiatrist, Dr. Uma Naidu, and let me figure out what sort of dietary changes, what sort of things can I do to help you through, not just giving you painkillers to get you through your ACL, which I did have an ACL, so I'm talking from experience here. But, what else is happening to this person? And I think that's really exciting. So I think any closing comment, Deepak, before we end today's?
If we do this right, we'll help create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. So let's move.
With that, thanks again.
I think Panosha, like Deepak had said, it's time to stop practicing and start delivering or start performing. And to that end, we'll be working closely as the three-way team over the next few weeks to build this capability in the Lake Nona facility. And looking forward to working with you folks to do that from BlueJeans Verizon team.
And I think I'm really excited because truly this project to me has been a true collaboration. I think a collaboration of physicians who are very busy and who are really doing like thank you again, thank you Sheila, thank you Rembert, Doug, Deepak, and also to the Lake Nona team and everybody here because they've been very open to really create the space for us to experiment. Because if we cannot create an experiment, nothing is possible, right? So I think really creating this environment to foster innovation has been a key aspect. So thank you everybody.
Yeah, thanks.
Namaste.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.